Julie Edge is joining us next to talk to us about how the last year has gone. Your schedule's been very difficult to pin us down. We've both been a bit mad on this one. So let's go with it, Miss Edge. On how was year 3?
It's been a really busy year, really quite chocker really, Paul, and as you say, it's very difficult to get any slots in my diary.
Yeah. Post office, well, we can probably talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll do that separately.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm on quite a few committees as well, standing committees of Tynwald. I'm on Social Affairs Policy Review. I've just been elected again to another one, which is on the Code of Conduct for Public Servants. And as you're aware, in 2017, I got through about the whistleblowers policy, so I chair that committee, and that's taken up considerable time as well. In fact, that's one of the things that I think could make significant changes within. I know that you had the CEO of Whistleblowers UK over,
yes.
And it's very interesting what they're doing with their all-parliamentary group, and they've issued their first report. I'd like to see that we can be more agile with our legislation and that, and if there is any significant changes we need to make, we should be able to do them a bit quicker. So that's something that I really do want to focus on now.
It's quite tricky though with a small community, isn't it, to do this? Is it harder, do you think? Or?
I think it is, and I think it's difficult for the individuals because it's a small community and everybody knows something about everybody else, but I think it's key to getting things right, and the whistleblowers should be protected. They're coming forward with the greater good. They're trying to do the right thing, and we need to be making sure as a government that they are treated fairly, and that it's not these things aren't carrying on and costing the public.
Is there willingness in Tynwald, do you think, for what you're doing there?
Obviously, once we report, we'll get a better feel for it. I'm not sure when that will be. We're still carrying on with interviewing people. We've put another call out for evidence, so it's been really interesting, good work, but quite difficult to listen to some of the information that you get, and I just want to make sure things are right for the people. So
okay. What else has been going on in the last 12 months?
Okay, so then obviously I'm a member responsible for housing. And I wanted to bring forward a policy this year on rent setting for 5 years, to make sure that the local authorities and also ourselves as DOI, that we knew where we were going for the next 5 years. I don't think that's going to happen this year, unfortunately. I'm very disappointed about that because I think it helps the tenant as well. We need to be making sure that all of the people within social housing know what's coming.
You've been talking about for years, though, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, and obviously we've got the 5-year tenancy set, and some of the people are just coming out of that 5 years policy now, so obviously we'll see what the impact of that has been.
What's likely to be the impact? I mean, people get assessed and
they can get reassessed, but the local authorities can assess their tenants at any time anyway, but they will be reassessed at the end of that 5-year period, and they'll either renew it or people,
it's very emotive, isn't it? Means testing and such.
I suppose you could. I wouldn't call anything means testing. I think it's needs. I think we need to be assessing the need of people, and we have a lot of people that are really in need of housing, and I think we need to put fair processes in place that make sure the most in need are the ones that are getting the services that they require.
Because everyone's got that story about someone who's got living in a house that they can afford to buy, but they're rented, and they've got a house in Marbella or something like that.
And these are the policies that we need to look at, and this 5-year fixed rental, obviously it's only going to pick up the people that have been recently got new contracts. It's not policy throughout the sector, it's only just the new ones, and then renewals or people that swap properties around.
Fair?
But I think that's something that needs looked at, and I'll be pushing for that. I think that's what's needed.
Okay, well, let's talk about the post office. The last 12 months, I mean, so much has happened. I can't exactly put the timescale on it, but you've had an interesting time.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. Obviously, I stick to my principles. I was elected on a manifesto that said I would look at make sure that pensions were fair and paying conditions were fair, and I've had the opportunity at the post office to look at that. When I joined the post office, I could see straight away within the first month there was going to be a serious issue possibly with the pensions, And you know, you have to tackle these things. No point sitting back thinking, oh, you know, I don't want people to not like me because I'm you know, making sure something's right for the people. It's public body, you know, so it has been challenging.
But the unrest, the strikes, the morale that was hit and everything. But I mean, where are we up to?
Well, obviously that's we've got through that period now. We had the strike in December, the first strike. Yes. And you know, I went down on the shop floor, as did many of the board members, and actually it was a good experience to actually see the volume at that time of year and that and what comes through. But what I wanted to do from the outset when I joined the post office was make sure it was fair for everybody, that you know, that there wouldn't be any compulsory redundancies at that point in time, and to protect the pay and conditions as much as I could for the workforce, and that's what I've done. You know, I'm being quite genuine about that. That's what I aim to do. You're always going to get challenges from unions. You couldn't got.
Mr. Pullinger was definitely playing hardball. I mean, you seem to be capitulating sometimes on things. Did you ever be halfway, or did you just?
Well, obviously, no, we know you do. When are you going to any negotiation? You have negotiation points, don't you? Yeah. And you know what your ultimate end limit is.
So you were playing a game of poker then, were you?
So, and at the end of the day, you know, you've just got to do what's right. And I stuck to my guns, and I wasn't going to be pushed too far. I'm there representing the board, and obviously, you know, we decided at what point the furthest we could go, really. I'm just pleased that the workforce are now, we've bought out these historic allowances.
And that almost literally this last week, there's no Saturday deliveries anymore.
No Saturday delivery, we've managed to. We're sort of 2 years into our 5-year strategy, and it's a tough strategy to deliver, but you know, I'm determined that we will successfully deliver it.
And actually losing money, or just cost neutral now, or where are we up to?
No, we obviously posted that we had a loss, but the way that the pensions can impact on your profit and loss account can be quite significant. So, but we are trading at a loss. Or last year we were.
Profit with their post office. Are they doing something different down there, or something?
Well, they possibly have different terms and conditions and things like that. You know, they're all different. However, the postal business as a whole, it's declining.
Yeah, but parcels. You love that, wouldn't you? As a monopoly, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we're just obviously extending our parcels haul. And basically making that twice the size, because there's an increase in parcels.
Try picking a parcel up there sometimes. The queues are massive, isn't it?
Yeah. And we're looking at flexible ways. You know, that's part and parcel of our strategy and retail strategy that we've just got through Tynwald. So
what else? Anything this from last year? I mean, there's a lot of pressure on you. I get this impression. When I see you in Tynwald as well, you're very passionate still.
Yeah,
you roll your eyes at certain other members.
I'm there to do the job that the people have elected me for, Paul, and that's what I will do. I'm not going to, nobody will influence me. You know, I'll listen to people, but if I don't think it's right for the people of the Isle of Man, I won't do it. And obviously, I was quite seriously ill through last year. And,
can we talk about that?
Yeah, that's
sorry,
fine.
I don't think anyone's even touched that. I didn't know if you wanted to.
No, I didn't. Obviously, I just carried on working. I had breast cancer. I had treatment.
You okay?
Yeah, fine. I had treatment in Clatterbridge, and actually it was an experience that I'm not glad I've gone through having to have cancer, but it's something that you have to deal with. I've gone through being a patient who's having to use patient transfer and having the difficulties of travel, and you know, I'm still actually backwards and forwards to Liverpool, and the amount of people that I've met, and that I've been in MHK on the ground with them as individuals, as patients, able to speak to the health minister and say, look, this is actually what's happening. Last week I arrived at the airport to go on the Liverpool flight. Couldn't get on it. I'm a patient. Luckily, I'm well enough to
well, you had a seat booked, did you? Or
seat booked, and there was no seat available for me. I ended up having to be taxied. I quickly transferred onto the Manchester flight and taxied from Manchester to my appointment with the Royal in Liverpool.
I thought you had you have a seat, you know. But,
what they said to me in the check-in desk was, you should have checked in. Now, how many people know that? You know, I didn't know.
What, the online stuff?
Yeah, right. And if you check in, you're guaranteed a seat. If you don't check in, you're not. So these experiences are helping me help other people.
You could have taken time off. I mean, you could have taking that pressure? Because it's pressure. Even you said you're still working, and all these things are going on. That can't be what your doctors recommend.
No, they weren't very happy with me, to be fair. And obviously, then we had the second strike, just at the same time.
And no one knew about this.
There was very few close people that knew about it. But
no one in the public domain was
No. And the day I came out of hospital, I went to, my sister picked me up, and I went to our local ShopRite. And sorry,
it's all right.
I use my local shop.
Others are available, but
and to get some milk, and I was actually challenged by a constituent who runs a social media site, saying quite nastily, "You weren't in Tynwald today." So I turned around and said, "Well, no. What's that to do with you?" And he actually came at me quite threatening and said, "Well, you should be at home tucked up in bed then." And that was just after having an operation for cancer. And this is what you have to put up with. But I'm up for that challenge. At the end of the day, not everybody knows what's going on. But I don't think really you're in the public eye, but I'm not sure that you should have to take behaviours like that from people that, are quite vocal on social media and that. I just don't think it's inappropriate. So, but these are the things you have to put up with. So, but I'm going to keep going. That's I've been put here for 5 years, and I will continue to keep digging deep and challenging and making sure we're getting the right things for the people.